So we had left off with the sodium was coming in. We were at threshold of that negative 55. So if we start getting a bunch of positives in here, this sodium coming in here, this negative 55 is going to raise. Does that make sense? It's going to go from negative 55. It's going to go up. And so if it goes up enough to the magic number of a positive 30 millivolts, we are going to trigger two things. What we're going to see is this guy is actually going to open now, and we're going to start to see this one close. But the way that one closes, doesn't fully close. Eventually it'll close. Let me get that back down there. So sodium was coming in. If we get so positive, this little ball thing is going to seal this off temporarily. And that's called the inactivation gate there. So sodium channel has like a door this way and a little knob here that will reset. So we get to this 30 millivolts, we're going to see sodium getting plugged, basically like a plug a sink, and then we're going to see potassium start to change. And so potassium was getting kicked into it. So remember, this is that sodium potassium pump. And so if potassium is being pushed into the side, potassium really doesn't want inside the cell, it's going to go out. So that's what happens here. So repolarization happens at a 30 millivolts, and it happens when potassium will going to start moving out. So let's write that. I'm going to pause and write and then catch you back up in a second. Okay, in order to save time on the video, I went ahead and wrote, so you can pause me, write this down, and then listen, whatever you would like. Okay, so at the 30 millivolts positive, now remember that was depolarized. Depolarized means it's positive in the middle. The voltage gated potassium channels were going to be the one that opens. So sodium opened first, potassium's opening now, and it's going to allow potassium to go out. Remember, when at rest, potassium was going in, so it's always opposite rest. So this is going to cause a repolarization when this happens. And so we were positive on the inside, so we were at 30. So we're going to become negative again. And so as we become negative again, we're going to see that sodium channel is going to get plugged. The sodium's going to stop. That pretty much happens at that positive 30. And eventually we're going to see it completely reset with the doors closing and all that stuff at negative 70 back at rest. So then your potassium channels are really slow. They're going to start closing again when we get to that like negative 70, but they're real slow to close, and because of that, they allow too much potassium to get out. And if you allow too much potassium to get out, you actually get more negative than that 70. That's called hyperpolarized. Hyper means higher than normal, but actually means more negative. That'd be a better way to say it. More negative. So the start, remember, was at negative 70 at rest. So we get to about a negative 90. Books will disagree on that, but that's just an estimate there. So to get us back to normal, the sodium potassium pump kicks back in. Of course, it's going the whole time, but it works a little bit extra to reestablish that resting membrane potential. Remember, resting is negative 70 millivolts. And this will continue as long as another signal gets sent, etc. So it's amazing how this works. And this is physiology that you're learning, and I know it's a little bit tricky. And we're going to be looking at some graphing of this, and hopefully we can understand this a little bit more. But to remember what's going on, if you could just remember at rest, 3 sodiums are getting kicked out and 2 potassiums are getting kicked in, and the action potential is opposite that. That's going to help you a lot. And so we're going to look at this when we get together and look at some of these questions, because I know it can be kind of hairy. So this will continue all the way down. We'll see this plus minus thing triggering it all the way down, and eventually we'll get to that axon terminal where it will open up some sort of neurotransmitter that will release probably onto a muscle. And so we will be talking about that too. So that's kind of part of your essay. So we'll talk more about that in class. All right. I'm going to stop this video. So that is repolarization. Remember, repolarization was when potassium goes out and we then are trying to become more negative. Polarization is negative, so if you repolarize, because we're too positive here. All right, see you on the next video.